Welcome to an episode of the Buckeye Roast. For some reason, our intro did not want to play today,
I was
but we are
wondering.
here live for the Buckeye Roast. It feels like it's been a minute. Q, how you doing?
I'm good. It's actually only been in a couple days this time, so it ain't like we've been ghosts for a while. They feel like it, but we always around.
Buckeyes undefeated. Yes, we are indeed live. We are live here. Drop something in the chat. I'll put it on the screen if you don't believe us. I'll go grab a fork if you need me to. We are here, man. The Buckeyes are undefeated. My Steelers got a win. I don't think you can say the same about your NFL team. If you want to talk about that real quick, care to comment on the on the outlook of the AFC North and who the best team is in that division?
I'm good right now, bro. We start losing to Cleveland. That's a bad week.
All right, I got to check in on some of your other teams. How's Maryland basketball doing so far?
Sucks. The season's over, bro. Oh my god, I was like, bro, you know it's bad when the team puts out like it's week 2 of college basketball and they're like refocus and build confidence going into the next week. Oh my god, bro, we lost to UAB and Davidson. I'm done.
Yeah, you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, cool. I unplugged. I kicked my mic and unplugged it. But Duke lost this weekend too, so that stinks. But overall, we got our Buckeyes to cheer for. I got the Steelers a little bit, but man, it feels good that the Buckeyes are undefeated. It seems like they're going to go into the game against the team up north undefeated. We talked about all season the tests that they had leading up to that game and if they would get there undefeated, and they passed all their tests. They have the Fighting PJ Flex to go before they get there, but it looks like the Buckeyes are going to cruise into that game undefeated, as well as the Piss Skunks. Man, do we have a matchup on the 25th? But I want to talk about the future of the Buckeyes a little bit before we dive in to this year's team, man. We're hearing rumblings about recruiting. We're seeing Hayes Fawcett tweet out the flip season. We see Chance Robinson, Miami commit, on campus. Official visit with the Buckeyes says that he wants to wrap things up and confirm with the decision here soon. And then, of course, the big fish, the number one player in the class, Jeremiah Smith. Cryptic tweet yesterday, God's plan. Everyone on Twitter losing their absolute mind. Florida State thinks that they have him in the bag. I just want to get your thoughts on the current state of recruiting. Do the Buckeyes pull off any flips before National Signing Day? Do we have anyone flipped on National Signing Day, which seems to become a tradition of losing people right before the deadline? What are your thoughts on the current recruiting situation of the Buckeyes?
Right before I jump into that, let me shout out Terry for being first in the chat. Keep the tradition going. Appreciate you tuning in early, and also one of Dez chats in here. He sees me with the earth tones, man. What I tell y'all? You know, it's fall time. You know it's good. But yeah, man, recruiting. So to the Chance Robinson, chance to flip him. I think it would help get another wide receiver in the class, make that 4. Obviously, the did you mute your mic again?
Did I?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh yeah. Chance Robinson, chance to get him in the class, making a 4th receiver. That would be nice to have him. And then Jeremiah Smith, man. Everybody losing their minds. I am not too worried about Jeremiah Smith right now. Not because I don't think we need him or whatever. Yeah, you got to have a Jeremiah Smith level in the class. And I mean, you truly think about it. People are like, oh, we good at wide receiver, but think about us this year not having a Marv. Think about a couple years ago not having a Garrett Wilson. Those level guys win games, especially, the recruiting level on defense hasn't been up to snuff. So you do need those big time difference makers. I think it's at a premium, so you have to keep him in the class. But I think we're all right now. Yeah, like you said, flip season, they never good for the Buckeyes. We don't flip anybody. We just get flip. Auburn be looking at our class like, yeah, we need a new cornerback. We need a new lineman. So hopefully we can hold down our guys. I don't know anybody in the class that I would say I would have on flip watch right now other than Jeremiah McClellan.
Other than the number one player in the country?
Yeah, other than Smith and McClellan and their Heartlines guys. So he usually holds his guys down, and I've not seen Heartline get really flipped yet that I can remember. So I think I'm all right. I think we're all right.
So where's your panic meter for the Jeremiah Smith flip watch on a scale of 1 to 10?
Maybe like a 3. I mean, I don't. I get it. He's a Florida kid. Florida State's calling. Thank God Miami is terrible. They're at 6-4. If you don't know. But I don't think Jeremiah's flipping. And like Berm always says, and when it comes to recruiting, who knows more than Berm? And he said it to us multiple times. He said it on the show multiple times. As long as Hartline and Day are at Ohio State, he doesn't see them flipping. And Hartline's not going anywhere. Day's not going anywhere for the current future. So I think we're good. I think Jeremiah Smith is in, and I don't think any. Of course, we got South Florida guys, and they can all start next year, which is like, Ennis, Tate, and Jeremiah Smith could be the starting lineup. So I don't think he'll turn a chance that down to go to Florida State.
Yeah, man, that opportunity of having the South Florida Express lineup at wide receiver next year is going to be insane. I saw someone say yesterday that teams are pitching that Kyle McCord will be his quarterback as a negative recruiting, and I'm like, did y'all not see Hellcat McCord out there with Maserati Marv? Like, what kind of car you like? Like, Marv is doing just fine with Kyle McCord as his quarterback. I don't know how that's negative recruiting. Like, I mean, y'all got Jordan Travis, and they're going to be, like, Florida State has Jordan Travis, and they're going to be worse at quarterback next year than we are. And Marv's already outperforming their best wide receiver. So what kind of pitch is that? Like, look what they're able to do. If you think Kyle McCord isn't the caliber of quarterback that you desire, I mean, he's still able to put up numbers for a wide receiver. Just show Marv's numbers.
Yeah, I never thought I'd see the day where teams are pitching Ohio State quarterback as a negative recruiting. I mean, that's a little crazy. But yeah, Florida State doesn't produce wide receivers at a level we do. Truly, it's hard to do that, and we've done it consistently down the line. With Hardline in there, man, it's the safe bet. Florida State, obviously, they have Johnny Wilson, and Keon Coleman just walked in the door. So he was what he was when he got in there. Can't really call development on that. It's just like another JMO situation. So I think Ohio State's a safe bet here. I would bet on us, and I would also bet our quarterback play levels up for what we have this year, regardless if it's Kyle McCord or somebody else. I don't think Day's dealing with that again. He's like, look, I don't care if you got to live in my house.
Over under 1.5 flips.
We could use a flip, man. I'm gonna go on the offense here. I say over flips for us. I think we can get 2 more flips, non-committed guys in this class because we really don't have a choice right now.
And over under 0.5 flips out of the class.
I'm like thinking who could. I think we're safe at linemen. I think we're pretty safe in defense. A lot of people try to take guys. I'll say under, man. I think this is one of the times where our close is actually like, all right, like the coaches did what they needed to do. We held on to our guys. Yeah, so I'm thinking I'm gonna go under and I'm gonna go over on flip. I think we get 2 more guys who are committed somewhere else in this class.
You're right all the time on this show, so I hope
not when it comes to recruiting. Oh man.
I hope I don't have to clip this one up, or I hope someone doesn't clip this one up before me.
Lose everybody.
Yeah, be cooking us like, damn, over under a 0.5, they lost 5 recruits.
Oh man, stay in the program will not be fun if that happens. I'll tell you that.
It definitely would not be a good time. I want to move on to this year's team and pivot a little bit from recruiting. We've seen the value of Ohio State's last recruiting class show itself this year with the amount of freshmen that we've seen be able to step up and perform. We've seen Jermaine Matthews get starts. We've seen Malik Hartford get starts. We're starting to see some of the other guys rotate in. The Buckeyes are down 2 major contributors on defense right now, and Tommy Eichenberg and Lathan Ransom. I just want to get your overall thoughts on having those guys out. It looks like Tommy may be able to return by the Team Up North game. Lathan, no official announcement, but he was on a scooter this past weekend. It doesn't look like he'll be ready before the end of the season. So I want to get your thoughts on the value of those guys and what this team may look like without them going forward.
Man, they're absolutely necessary, and I don't know if we're going to get Lathan back, but Tommy needs to be good to go in the Team Up North game. I mean, you have to have him. Cam talked about it. These guys are going to have to be gap sound, and still Chambers has struggled with that a little bit at linebacker, and of course they're better when Tommy is in there. So I think he's absolutely necessary to have back. Had a really good game against the Team Up North last year, and I think the front seven they're gonna get hell because Don Evers ran for 80 yards in 75, but they were really good in that game until the last I guess 5 minutes where gap, who needs them? I'm gonna just step out and let him run. What you seen they do in the Penn State game when they got out of their gaps. So I think we need Tommy back, absolutely necessary. Lathan Ransom, as good as he is, and that's a guy you probably need to win a championship because the defense is better with him. I think Sonny Styles holds that position down, and if we walk into the Team Up North game with Sonny Styles at strong safety, I think we are okay. Like we've talked about, he's one of the best on this team in the box and sorting through traffic. I still don't know how he doesn't start at linebacker yet, but he's really good in that. He's better in coverage than people give him credit for. He's been really good. So I think we're okay, but Tommy have to have him in there. That's hard for me to say. Tommy's your guy, and I give the linebackers hell week in, week out, but we have to have him for the Team Up North game.
Yeah, the one thing that I said that I was worried about without having Tommy out there is the defense getting aligned when you have two freshmen. Well, you have Sonny playing out of position. You have a true freshman starting a free safety, and then you have Cody Simon calling the defense with Steel Chambers. I feel like that's definitely going to be a missing part of the defense, having Tommy out there, the quarterback of the defense. And then with Lathan, while I do think that Sonny is more than capable of going back there and filling in for Lathan, the one thing that I do feel like that it does take away from this defense, what makes it elite, is even without Sonny back there, we already had two elite safeties with Lathan and Proctor, and they've both been balling out this season. And then that freed up Sonny to just be a freak of nature and be disruptive wherever Knowles decides to stick him on the field when he's playing a more traditional safety role. And for him to move out of that role, you have to bring in a true freshman or rotate someone that hasn't played a lot this year to get him back into his normal position. That does worry me a little bit. I feel like Lathan was probably one of the most underrated players on this team this year. I feel like he just got such a bad rap for maybe 2 or 3 bad plays last season, but people forget how much he balled out last year, and then he followed it up with another spectacular year this year. I wouldn't be surprised if Lathan, once it's all said and done, if he's healthy and able to compete at the combine and things like that, if he doesn't play himself into a day 2 pick. So I hope he's able to get back, but I definitely do worry about the holes that they leave on this defense.
Yeah, Lathan playing at a very high level. I thought he was playing himself into around a 3rd round pick, maybe a 4th, which is not bad because I think Jordan Battle was a 3rd round pick, and we know how good he was. So I know when you don't say 1st or 2nd, you're like, what? He's not good? Like, no, he's really good. You just have to be a Sonny Styles to get that early of a pick most times. So I just think the drop off level between Lathan and the rest of the safeties isn't as much between Tommy and the rest of the linebackers. So that's why I would put him first. As long as we have Proc back, we roll in with Proc and Sonny, I think we're okay from the safety position because we've seen what they can do in the box. And as we've seen from Michigan, they're not exactly threatening the pass game. They're going to be like, okay, we're going to run the ball, try to stop us, and let's see what we can do from there. And I think these cornerbacks are so much better that it's going to trouble them in the pass game. So the box has to be secure, locked down, no missed gaps, and we can roll from there.
We do have some injuries on defense, but it seems like the offense is starting to get healthy. We saw the return of Cade Stover last week. I just want to get your thoughts on what it looked like for you with Kyle having his safety net out there. It seemed like Kyle seemed significantly more comfortable having Cade back out there. And when we thought of Mecca, I feel like Cade brought to the offense what we thought Emeka would have brought the week before with his return. It seems like, wow, the slot receiver has been the safety net for every Ryan Day quarterback. Cade seems to be that guy for Kyle. So I just want to get your thoughts on the return of Cade.
Yeah, he is the slot. This position on this team. K-Star was absolutely necessary. I don't know, man. I don't know if he juiced up between this season and last season, but he just looks like a different player. No allegation in CAA, so he ain't
Yeah, I
got
was about to say, come on, chill out. We don't need any piss tests before the national championship.
But yeah, man. Absolutely necessary. Marv, Travion, and K Stover are his comfort blankets. Would love to see him get a Mecca involved a little bit more, which we can touch on later. But yeah, man, absolutely necessary to have him back. K looked good. I mean, when you come back and have 7 catches, you're balling out and you're good to go. So he was absolutely necessary as well. We got him back another game to build confidence, and then let's go to Michigan.
Absolutely. Another recent return from injury I want to talk about. I touched on Emeka Egbuka being back the week before. It still doesn't seem like he's fully healthy. It seemed like he might have tweaked his ankle during that last game. Do you think that we just sit Emeka and let XJ and Carnell carry us to the Team Up North game and try to have a fully healthy Emeka by the Michigan game?
Yeah, I would. I think he is the difference maker in the Michigan game. We know they're not going to let Marv just go out and go crazy. They're going to put a safety over the top, probably match up with Will Johnson, but both Michigan corners are really, really good. So Emeka at the slot inside is going to be the player that if we're gonna beat them, he's going to have a good game. We know it's possible from him. He's just getting back, but he's going to be healthy. And he's going to have a big game for us to have a solid chance to go win there. So that's a guy I think when I talked about injection of what this team needs, it's more Emeka grinding out in the slot. So then we got to have him healthy. I would sit him if he's not and try to get him ready for that game. I'm with you on that one.
Someone said they see Emeka coming back and moving outside. I do not. I think he is gone. If he's healthy by the combine, I feel like people will see enough of his tape last year and what he's able to do at the combine, and he'll play his way into a second round pick if he doesn't find a way to get back and make some explosive plays before the end of the season to remind people why they thought he was a first rounder coming into the game. Coming into the season.
Yeah, I agree with you there. I don't think Emeka's back as long as he plays in a couple more games. I think he's gone. Even injury, let's say he misses a few more. I still don't know. He probably look at that room and be like, yeah, I don't know. I have to go back compete and get the number 1 spot. When Jeremiah Smith showed up on campus, and guys he's played for. 2 seasons now. We count the Rose Bowl. Like, once guys start for a couple seasons, it's time for them to move on.
Punk said, y'all been waiting on a Julian Fleming breakout game for 8 years. I'm still waiting.
Hey, man, Julian hasn't had that 2 touchdown game where he just goes crazy. He hasn't had that, but he's a level of consistency, man. I remember, I think it was last year he had a touchdown like 6 weeks in a row.
Not doing this.
Hey, man,
bro was the number 1 wide receiver in the country, bro. And I don't think have we ever seen a game over 120 yards for 2 touchdowns?
I don't know, but unfortunately, you got Emeka and Marv walking around. Give your number 1 receiver. It's hard, bro. It's hard in this offense.
Yeah, man. I've given up on the breakout game from Julian. Someone called him Julian Scott Jr. and said, bro, should be a tight end because all he does is block out there. Maybe we could see him turn into a Hall of Fame tight end or something out there because I don't know if it is at wide receiver, but I do want to move on. But before we move on, reminder to everyone, they got us on Bleacher Report tonight, way past my bedtime. 10 p.m. Make sure that you tune in tonight after the college football playoff rankings, a few hours after. Me and Chris Drew will be live at 10 p.m. in the Bleacher Report app. And something else, man, the likes on the video, garbage. We have been low lately. I need y'all to make sure you guys are smashing that like button. I mean, we were in here for like 15 minutes with only 3 likes on the video. There's 40-something people in here. Make sure you guys smash that like button. It helps us a ton in the algorithm. And yeah, man, Q said who will shave his eyebrows, both of them, to look like Josh Dobbs if this video hits 100. So, I mean, if you care about Josh Dobbs and the Minnesota Vikings, make sure you go ahead and smash that like button so Q can pop on here and looking like what do they call him? The Pastronaut?
We don't need way more likes because I'm going to get fired. Looking crazy.
No, you can't get fired.
The blows just channel up. Oh, man.
I got a viral strain of alopecia. I lost my eyebrows.
Now we're canceled. Oh, man. We're just moving right along. Yeah, man. Make sure you like that video, man. It's free. We got 40 people in here, man. Help us out. Help us out. Maybe Ron will take off his hat.
No, absolutely not. We're gonna need at least $20,000 in super chats and a trip to Turkey before I take my hat off.
Oh man, funny man. Yeah. All right, so I got a couple things for you, Rod, and we'll jump into this. Just want to touch on Minnesota. I know it's early in the week, and we'll probably touch on them later in the season. But I want to ask, so offense rates.
We're going to touch on Minnesota later in the season?
No, later in the week.
I was going to say, after we play Minnesota again, I'm never talking about them ever.
We can talk about them all week next week. Who cares about Michigan? We got Minnesota. All right, so the 75th ranked offense in the nation, 68th ranked defense. They score 22.5 points per game and give up 28.8, which is not good. What do you think against them? Do you think they give our offense any trouble, defense any trouble? Anything from them that worries you?
No. No, I think PJ Fleck is a bozo. I think that team stinks. I'm looking for this to look like a tune-up game. I would imagine they're going to use it as a chance to get some guys healthy and sit them out. I want to see the Buckeyes come out here, look explosive, and handle business. I want them to not struggle with backups in. I want people to have the opportunity to be healthy, and I want to enjoy my Saturday like I did this past weekend with 3 touchdowns in the first quarter and the game being over before the second starts. That's what I'm looking for. I need the Buckeyes to look sharp, even with guys missing, because I feel like we are at that point in the season where they need to be playing their best ball, regardless of injuries. Everyone's banged up right now. Everyone's missing people. So at this point, the Buckeyes need to find a way to lock in and continue to look like the Death Star that they looked like last week. I know it was only Michigan State, but you want to be playing your best football at this time of the year, and I'd like to see them upgrade their level of play or continue to elevate their level of play even in the absence of some of these injured players.
Yeah, Minnesota's 5-4, man. They're not a good football team. You got to go ahead and take care of business. I want to see a lot more, especially from Kyle McCord, a lot as we seen last week. So I do want to ask, give me a player on offense and defense who need a good game here to build momentum for next week. And offense should be pretty easy.
Offense, I'm going to go with Kyle McCord, obviously. I think that I'd like to see Kyle go into the Team Up North game feeling comfortable and confident in himself. I don't need questions swirling going into the game about a poor Kyle McCord performance against Minnesota that have the fans worried going into the T-Ton game. I need him in the best headspace possible going into that week of preparation. And then as far as defense, Mike Hall Jr., man. I feel like it has been the Tyleik Williams show on the defensive line this year. And coming into the season, all we talked about was Mike Hall and the disruption that he was going to have. And I don't know if he's battling injury. I don't know if he's slipping into rotation. What's happening there? But we thought that Mike Hall was going to be a first-round pick coming into this season. And I think he had 10 snaps last week. So I don't know what the issue is there, but I feel like if Mike Hall is playing at the level that we've seen him play in years past, like if we get Notre Dame Mike Hall from last season, along with the way Tyleik Williams is playing, I don't think there's a team in the country that can compete with us. So I'm not sure what's going on the interior of the defensive line, but I definitely think that having Mike Hall playing at the highest level come Saturday or 2 Saturdays from now, I think that's the most important thing for the Buckeyes.
Yeah, that's a good pick right there. Let me remind y'all, like the video before I get mine. Emeka Egbuka, I think if he plays, I think he needs a life injection game. I think we need to get him back, get him the ball. You cannot have the number 2 receiver in the nation having 1 catch while Cade Stover goes for 7. I think you got to inject it him back into the offense and get him rolling. If he is not playing, I would say consistency from the offensive line. They sometimes get Trey clobbered and sometimes block really well. So that's where I would go from there. Defense, Mike Hall is a good pick. I was thinking Mike Hall, but he's in that one. I would say Steel Chambers. I think Steel Chambers needs a good game here. I think we need to not see him get out of his gap, not see him just get blocked. I know his linebacker sometimes gets stuck. Tommy is really the only one that's really good at shedding blocks. So I would go Steel Chambers. I don't think he's been bad the last couple of weeks as he was early in the season, but he hasn't been great either. So I would love to see him, come back and have a really good game. So that's where I would go there. So I wanted to ask that a little touch on Minnesota, not too much because they're not offering much for us to break down, but definitely have a good game there. And let me preview later, man. College football playoff rankings. Is that why you're doing that Bleacher Report show later?
What was that?
The college football playoff rankings. Is that why you're doing that Bleacher Report later?
Correct. I don't know why it's 2 hours after the show, but it is after the show, so we will be instantly reacting. We will be instantly reacting to the to the college football playoff rankings tonight. I want to get your thoughts and predictions. Do you think the Buckeyes? You just said fuck your thoughts and predictions. I'm out of here.
That alarm, man. It always.
But yeah, I wanted to get your thoughts on, do you think the Buckeyes deserve to stay at number one? Because, I mean, I think the past 2 weeks have been super impressive by Georgia. Their quarterback, Jimmy Neutron, has been balling out. They put up, 50-something points against Ole Miss this past weekend. Did the Buckeyes do enough to retain the number one ranking?
Crazy enough, I was going to ask you that. I think so for right now. I think we're okay. UGA is going to come for that number one spot, man. They're going to get it by the end of the season. That's my prediction. Punk will be happy. They're going to somehow get, even if we beat Michigan, we're going to somehow lose that spot. I don't know how, but we
no.
are. So.
There's no way if Ohio State beats Michigan, there's absolutely no way that they are not the number one team in the country going into the playoffs.
We do this every year, man.
Punk, I don't know. Punk, who do you guys play this week? Because I believe their last game of the season is going to be Georgia Tech, and I know they normally have a cupcake to prepare for that huge game to end the season. So I don't know how Georgia could stay at number one if Ohio State beats Michigan.
Bro, Punk OD, he said put us at 5.
Bro, Georgia at 5, Alabama at 6.
We'll take
Tennessee and Georgia Tech. Yeah. Exactly.
We don't care.
A layup.
Put them at 7. Look, what's the worst that could happen?
Remember when they were telling us Joe Milton was going to win the Heisman? How's that going?
Oh, my God. Oh, man. But, yeah, I think we're number one tonight. Rolling there. I don't know, man. I just feel like somehow, some way, we're going to lose that spot even if we went out. But we'll see. But I think we're number one tonight. What about you?
I don't know. I feel like this is going to tell us. I feel like that's going to tell us a lot about the committee tonight if Ohio State doesn't move. Because clearly, if Ohio State doesn't move, they must feel like the Buckeyes deserve to be in the playoffs, or they want a number one team in the matchup for the game. But if Georgia jumps, I think it's deserved. So I won't be mad either way. I really don't have a beat on how much the committee values what Georgia's doing, because everybody was talking, it felt like Georgia got the Alabama treatment where people weren't big believers of Ole Miss, but man, it's the end of the season. Let's get a top 10 matchup for the ratings. But I don't know. I thought Georgia was going to jump Ohio State last week. They didn't. So I'm not sure if they're going to do it this week, especially with the rhetoric about Ole Miss after that game. It seemed like a lot of people were low on Ole Miss that were high on them the prior week. So I don't know how much that was hyping just to get the ratings up for a top 10 matchup and how much people actually believed in Ole Miss. So I think that with those past 2 wins, they deserve to pass Ohio State, but I'm not sure what the committee will do.
Yeah, no, I think people were high on Ole Miss until halftime, and then it was
no, these niggas stink.
These niggas suck. Oh man, yeah. So I guess tonight would be the night that if they're going to jump Ohio State, I guess that would be it. But yeah, like you said, and then Florida State, not an impressive win at home against Miami. Do you think they I guess they're still undefeated, so it's hard to move them. Do you think they're in danger of losing that fourth spot at all?
No, I think the committee is going to make the top 4 teams make their decision for them. I don't think they're going to put anyone in there until until after the game. They're going to let Ohio State, Michigan sort this out, and then they're going to slide a team in, and hopefully they just have 4 undefeated teams at that point. I believe Washington's the only undefeated team that's outside of the top 5 at the
Yeah.
moment. So, I mean, the game should settle it. But if Washington stumbles before then, I feel like with Ohio State at 1, they're leaving the door open that if the Buckeyes do lose to the team up north, they could potentially still get in as that top 1 loss team. But with the way Alabama's looking right now, I just don't see how the committee doesn't put them in if they have any opportunity to justify it.
Yeah, man, it's just thinking about it down the stretch, it's going to be tough. I mean, you think Ohio State or Michigan, they lose one, have a really good chance to get in. Washington's still undefeated. They finish undefeated. Florida State finishes undefeated. Georgia finishes undefeated. Alabama waiting out. Man, it's gonna be a nervous weekend for a lot of people if that happens.
Texas winning out?
Yeah,
because
win over Bama.
They have the win over Bama, and while I think Alabama is currently the better team than Texas, I just don't see a scenario where Alabama could be a 1-loss SEC champion and Texas be a 1-loss Big 12 champion and Texas not get the nod over Alabama just because they have the head-to-head matchup. And someone made a great point on Twitter yesterday, like if you're not going to honor that head-to-head matchup between Texas and Alabama and give them the nod when deciding who gets to go to the college football playoff, why even play the game?
No, agreed. And they both might miss out. It's a crazy thing. Even with one loss, they both might just not be in there. But yeah, like Punk said a minute ago, every team in the country has questions. So it's not like really like a eye test. I mean, Alabama's looked down lately, but it's not really like a dang, like you can't have them out. Everybody has something where like, well, they could lose or get blown out if we throw them in there. So it's gonna be a crazy finish of season, but you'll talk about it later on Bleacher Report. But just wanted to ask some questions, and we'll get our answers later tonight. But that's all I got.
Absolutely. Any questions from the chats? I know one thing that I got. We got 47 people in here and only 22 likes, so I'd like to see that get to 35 before we get out of here. But yeah, man, big game against the Fighting PJ Flex this Saturday. College football rankings tonight. We have a full slate of shows the rest of the week. Plenty of Buckeye roast before the end of the week. We have the Fans Edge tomorrow night at 7:30 with Mike and Cam. We have the college football playoff show. The college football pregame show on Saturdays with me and Chris Drew. We always have special guests coming through there every week. Always a surprise of who you're going to see on that show. And, of course, the flagship Buckeye BS on Sundays at 10 a.m. Q, anything else before we get out of here?
Somebody had a question earlier on Jordan Seaton, asking if we had heard anything. I haven't personally. Not really. He did miss his visit he was supposed to make. So
miss his visit? Nigga said, I'm not coming, bro. Stop fucking calling me.
So let's get up here. He's a knee at this point. It's like, throw the house. Give him Ron's house. Give him all of Columbus. Like, we gotta get this man here, bro. We need a tackle. He's not even. I thought he was gonna play guard, but he's got to play tackle here at this point because we need a tackle. So we get something. We'll see. That's something I'll probably ask Chris Drew about before signing.
We just got a crystal ball prediction to flip a Northwestern guard in the 600 of the rankings. So
hey,
don't you worry, bro.
Justin
Fry is working, bro.
On brand as usual. But yeah, that's all I got.
Yeah, man, that's all I have. I appreciate everyone tuning in. Please smash that like button. It helps us a ton. And yeah, it's good to be live here this morning. It's been a minute, it feels like, but we're going to get you a couple more live shows in the morning before the end of the week. We have Bleacher Report tonight at 10 p.m. Make sure you tune in with me and Chris Drew. We appreciate you tuning in to the Buckeye Roast. I'm going to try to play this outro. No, I'm not. It looks like it's not working. I'm going to give it one more try.
Yeah, tell us where they can find us first, man. Well, if you them likes help me get up in the morning, so please like that video. It just motivates me to get out of bed and stretch, man. If you want to find me, City Boy Quentin on Twitter, not hard to find. Find that Johnson on Instagram if you're in the movies, minor league films. Also, you can find me, Ron.
Yeah, if you want to find Q, make sure you check your girl's DMs.
I will not be there.
If you want to find me, you can find me on Twitter at 2Ts. That's 2_TEES. You can find me on Bleacher Report tonight at 10 p.m. with Chris Drew. Here with Q every morning at 8 a.m.-ish in the mornings. And yeah, man, make sure you tune into the Fans Edge tomorrow night. We appreciate you rocking with us here this morning for the Buckeye Roast. And we will talk to you tomorrow, or in my case, tonight before bed. Yeah, the outro's just not playing today. A big fuck you to Ron. So,
Oh, hey.
Ohio.